And if you're like, hey, China's targeting ethnically Chinese Canadians who are anti-communist and pro-Canada, how can you be labeled racist for expressing outcry about that? He says that part of CSIS's duties is to make sure the diaspora is not bullied by these sinister foreign regimes. That's exactly what's happening here. China is bullying Canadians in Canada, ethnically Chinese Canadians. And the influence went even further. Here's how Han Dong won his riding. Chinese senior citizens were bussed in to help him win his nomination with his name written on their arm, so they knew who to vote for. And then, you want to talk about bullying that CSIS should worry about, ethnically Chinese foreign students were told by the Chinese consulate, we're going to yank your student visas if you don't show up and vote for Han Dong. So this is actually, as Justin Trudeau rightly noted, for once, he said the right thing. The CSIS is supposed to be concerned about bullying of the diaspora by the sinister regime over there, like Iran, like China. CSIS is literally doing that, and Justin Trudeau is dismissing it as racism. When I'm like, hey, they're targeting Chinese, we should be worried about that. No, you're racist if you care.
If you question anything about this government, you are labeled a racist, a transphobe, a science denier, a climate change denier. The litany of gaslighting projections really onto the population that just say, hey, something's not right here, and maybe we should trust our intel, the people in charge of our country's intelligence, that something is awry here. No, we can't have that because that would question my authority, and in doing so, that makes you a racist. And I mean, are we even really surprised that the same government who told us, closing borders to China at the onset of the pandemic was racist? At this point, I'm not surprised that anyone who questions or goes against what Justin Trudeau says or the way that he acts in power is labeled that way, because we've seen time and time again, it's just like a fail-safe resort for them to come back to labeling people, putting them in this little box, and disregarding their views as probably also far-right conspiracy theories.
Let's go to this next clip, I think, of Justin Trudeau, because I've got another note to make about how absurd it is to call criticisms of Han Dong racist, because I was looking into his history of voting in the House of Commons, and you'd be surprised what he didn't vote for it. And this is all fresh in my mind because I just did a video on this. So it's not like Sheila knows these things off the top of her head. No, I did some serious research so I could put together an appropriate video. So let's go to this second clip, if we could.
Were you, your office, or any Liberal Party staff ever warned before or after September 2019 election about CSIS concerns that Mr. Han Dong was suspected to be involved in the People's Republic of China foreign interference? And if the Liberal Party government was warned prior to the 2021 election, why did the Liberal Party allow him to run?
Let me start by being very, very clear.
Always.
There are 1.7 million Canadians
who
proudly trace their origins back to China. Those Canadians should always be welcomed as full Canadians and encouraged to stand for office, to get involved in their communities, and to take on part of the leadership of this country. That's one of the great things about this country. Let me say that we are extraordinarily lucky and happy to have a member of parliament like Han Dong in our midst, serving his community, serving our country alongside Chinese Canadian MPs from different parts of the country, alongside an extraordinary diverse group of MPs.
There it is.
Who are proud Canadians, even as they trace their origins to elsewhere around the world. And that is as it should be. It's also very important to highlight that we have national security and intelligence agencies who are there to protect all Canadians of all different origins, as well as our democratic processes. And we always engage with them and listen to them But let me also be very clear to a really important point that I think some folks are choosing to overlook. In a free democracy, it is not up to unelected security officials to dictate to political parties who can or cannot run. That's a really important principle. We, of course, draw on the expertise every step of the way. But the suggestions we've seen in the media that CSIS would somehow say, no, this person can't run or that person can't run, is not just false, it's actually damaging to people's confidence in our democratic and political institutions.
The only thing that's damaging to our political trust in political institutions is literally Justin Trudeau.
Yeah. I mean, this is the guy who blocked pro-life candidates from running. You could be liberal on all other things except even if you took the secular viewpoint that scientifically you believe that life begins at conception, you were not able to run as a liberal candidate. If you thought, no, self-declaring yourself as the other gender, that's a little bit kooky. If you said that, you were not allowed to run as a liberal candidate. But you can literally have CSIS saying, hey, no, don't run this guy. This is super bad. And Justin Trudeau will say, no, it's fine. We'll sign off on this. I would have the same criticisms for Justin Trudeau. In fact, I do have the same criticisms for Justin Trudeau that I have for Han Dong. Justin Trudeau has said that China is his favorite dictatorship. Han Dong, get this. This is why, again, it's absurd to call anybody who criticizes this nonsense racist, because Han Dong refused to vote against China's racism. He snuck out of the House of Commons instead of voting in favor of a liberal-sponsored motion to condemn Chinese genocide against Uyghurs and Turkic Muslims. So he snuck out so that he didn't have to vote with his own party on this, exhibiting loyalty to the Chinese state more so than to the Liberal Party of Canada. But according to Justin Trudeau, that's all fine and dandy as long as it wins, I guess, 11 ridings across the country. But Han Dong is the one that's okay with racism because he refused to vote against China's racism. And again, like, the gall of Justin Trudeau to think that he can get away with this stuff. But I guess he does because he bought off the media.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it goes to show as well when the Freedom Convoy hit in Ottawa, just how it rallied so much support from law enforcement and the intelligence community. I mean, Trudeau was clearly stealing from the Xi Jinping playbook by imposing Chinese-style lockdowns, dictatorship reign over Canadians all throughout the pandemic pandemonium. And also with the electronic health passes known as the ArriveCan app, because he has probably been under the influence of China since he was elected Liberal leader in 2013. So are we surprised that Canadians are seeing now this tip of the iceberg is starting to unveil itself in terms of just how much interference the Chinese dictatorship has played in our country and the political system here?
And we also lived through, look, let's talk about the hypocrisy here. We lived through a year of everybody freaking out about foreign meddling. And but they said it was Russian. And I was like, okay, well, I cared about foreign meddling a long time ago when foreign funded campaigns were coming from San Francisco to block oil and gas development, like as early as, I don't know, 2010. Mm-hmm. Where like there's literally billions of money coming in to influence our elections and our government policy. And so foreign meddling is a real thing when it's real. And so we lived through a year of the Liberals and the media, but I feel like I'm repeating myself there, telling us that there were Russians under the hood of every truck that was in Ottawa during the Freedom Convoy. It was a Russian-backed Kremlin operation, except there was never any evidence that it was anything other than a completely organic blue-collar uprising of people absolutely fed up with being told how to live their lives and having their constitutional rights stomped all over. But it was according to the Liberals, and even now they still talk about Russia, 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 Russia. It's like the new Red Scare, except there's no there. And now we have evidence of real foreign meddling, real Red Scare. This is the real Red Scare, by the way. This is like communists influencing the government, which is what the Red Scare was like, 3/4 of a century ago. But they don't seem to care at all, because the Liberals, who won't shut up about protecting democracy, are willing to sell out our democracy to the Chinese as long as they win 11 seats. That's what they can be bought for. That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.